and welcome. If you're listening to the audio, it's Thursday morning. If you're watching the video, it's Monday. This is Aubrey Edwards and Will Washington, and this is Unrestricted, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling. Will, it's a bit that I've seen you, and I just want to talk about, I know we just had Title Tuesday. One of my favorite, so excited about recently is our new women's world champion, Kris Statlander. And I want to ask you personally, how excited are you that she is now our world champion?
Are you kidding me? I am over the moon about this. Which go figure, because as she can be over an alien at times. Yeah, no. Are you kidding me? I was so happy to see this happen, to see it finally happen. It's one of those things that has the potential to happen because she's Kris Statlander, but until she actually had that belt above her head, it wasn't like a thing that had truly sunken into me. And we had her on right before All Out, the All Out preview show, and you could just see it was right, but you could see it was time. You could see it was time, and yeah, I'm just so happy for her. And also, I want to remind everybody that this show right here, the official podcast of All Elite Wrestling, AEW Unrestricted, is presented by Upper Deck, and the new AEW memorabilia launch from Upper Deck Authenticated features a lineup of standout autograph pieces like Adam Copeland's Rated R Superstar print, Kenny Omega's Flying High Gold, and for the first time, collect Hangman Page's signed Cowboy Snapback, the Young Bucks inspired Reebok pumps with Super Kick Party and Party inscriptions, and MJF's plaid cashmere scarf. Each piece brings personality, style, and a touch of wrestling history to your collection. Available now on upperdeckstore.com.
Hell yeah. I love our sponsors. They send us all these cool cards, and I love when we get the cards and we get to like kind of open them both on screen and off screen. So if you're watching the video, sometimes you get to see these beautiful cards. Yeah. But I love pulling them and then having all of these, like I just pulled one with like Eddie Kingston, which, one, happy he's back, but two, he's had some incredible matchups, and being able to just have those memories come back to you of all of these individual matchups that people have had. I think I dropped a MJF card, for instance, and there's some matches that I want to talk about specifically with these today with one of our guests that I'm excited to have. Who do we have today, Will?
Well, joining us now, Aubrey, is the one and only Mark Briscoe.
Yay!
Mark, thank you for being back here on AEW Unrestricted.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
I'm doing great, but you, my friend, are for the 9th time a father once again. Congratulations.
Thank you kindly. Thank you. Yep, the big number 9, the real Nueve.
The real Nueve.
How's it been? How's it been adjusting to having effectively an 11th person at home?
Yeah, and I tell you, he showed up right before the school year started. So right when everything's getting a little crazy. We got a middle school hockey player and a high school hockey player, field hockey that is. Yep, and school started up. He got here on the 22nd of August. I believe school started the 28th of August. And so yeah, it's been hectic, but it's been great, man. He's a good boy, good strong boy. Yep, he's doing good. The main thing that we got to be concerned with is Baby J, because he's one. I mean, he's 1.5,
right?
And he doesn't quite understand that Baby Mac, the new baby, is not as sturdy as his other brothers. So that's the main difficulty at this point.
I love the use of the word sturdy when describing a child, because it makes absolute sense.
Oh yeah.
Like the thing that is I think needs to be said is that, like, having kids in this industry, I don't have kids, but I see all of my friends who do, and I'm just like, how do you function with, being a present parent at home, but also being able to work out, eat right, train, do all the things you need to do to be an excellent performer. And then you do it to like an exponential level because you're a father, but you're a present father. Like, you're there for your kids when you're at home, which I commend you for, because not everyone is that person. And I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Do you drink coffee?
Oh my goodness, I have one in my hand.
There we go.
As we speak. Yep.
Perfect.
Pretty nonstop. Yep.
Well,
and you gotta follow it up in the evening with the red wine. That's the key.
Get the upper and the downer.
Yeah, it's perfect balance. Do you feel like, doing this for the 9th time now, does it feel like clockwork at this point, or do you feel like you're still always learning something new?
Definitely learning this about this new, this new little guy. Like he changes the whole dynamic because he's gonna have a relationship, and he's building a relationship with all 8 of his siblings. So that's a bunch of different brand new relationships. And so I wouldn't necessarily say learning new stuff. And I tell you, the most helpful thing is that we had the 3 girls, 1, 2, and 3. So they're the 3 oldest. So they're like little mini mommies, little built-in babysitters. So they're so helpful.
Wonderful. I mean, speaking of relationships, I want to talk and big groups. I want to talk about the Conglomeration. How's that for a segue?
That was nice.
Right? Yes. Gonna pat myself on the back for that one. I love your group, and every time that you guys are on screen, I know that magic's gonna happen. Like, not only are we going to get an incredible Mark Briscoe yelling at the camera promo, and I'm gonna learn a new word, but like your guys' chemistry is off the charts. How did this group come together? And how do you guys how do you function together? Because it's so many different personalities.
Ooh, and I want to add to this story, by the way, as you tell it, because I feel like there's a...
Will was in the room.
I was. Yes.
Instrumental.
I was hoping like one day I would get to tell this story. And
okay.
But go on. I want to make sure that we get every piece told.
Yep. So it was myself, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy in a 6-man tag team. One of the first all-star 6-man, 8-mans, because that's kind of become a pretty recurring theme in AEW. It was one of the first ones. It was me, O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy facing off. I ain't going.
Roderick Strong, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. Yes.
Yep. There you go. Yep. And Willow was palling around with Orange at the time, so she was in there with us, and she had some business that evening as well. So the 4 of us, we cut a promo together, and I said, "This is the word of the day." I said, "Look at all these individuals that we have lined up here. The word of the day is conglomeration, because this is one hell of a conglomeration of individuals." And then so it ended up being a pre-tape, and I don't know if it was too long or something, but we did another one, and I didn't say that line again. And my good friend Will said, "Mark, I really like the word of the day is conglomeration, and what a conglomeration of people." So we ended up doing it again with that in there, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, the best part too was that, right, I remember we had we just did a run through of it first just to kind of get all the beats down, because the one thing people don't know about these Conglomeration promos, and the thing I appreciate about them more than anything, is that the thing that everybody loves is that Mark Briscoe just kind of brings it, right, and that you're always going to get this high energy, but like Mark really just kind of freestyles these things. You don't really there's never really a big like a script to it. It's really like, okay, just make sure you hit these points, but otherwise just go. And so when we did the initial run through, just as we were kind of figuring things out, you had said, just the word of the day is conglomeration. But then when we taped it, you didn't say that part. And then we go back to rewatch it, and Clark happens to notice, I think like the light had slipped into the shot or something like that, so we had to redo it. And just as we're about to redo it, I was like, hey, that line you said about the word of the day, like, throw that back in there. And then, we redid it, and sure enough, it came out perfectly. And I remember like a week later, Tony, we're sitting in creative, and Tony was like, what was the thing Mark said last week? Called it the Conglomeration? I think that's what it is. It's the Conglomeration. And there it is.
Yep. And it's just we just budge, you know what I mean? 2 rules, you know what I mean? Can't be a, pardon my French. Well, I'll just spell it. SHIT. Can't be one of them. Can't be a shithead. I said it. I ended up saying it.
It's unrestricted. You're fine.
And you got to be down to conglomerate. So there's 2 rules. Very simple. And, we just buddies. We like to have fun. We don't like to stress about too much, but we can all get down at the highest of the, the highest of the totem pole. We can get down in the ring, and that's kind of what brings us all together. That in the conglomeratory, is one of the main conglomeratory factors. But yeah, so yeah, we are a hell of a group.
I love that we're like pushing the bounds of the English language. Like conglomeration has been an adjective, a verb, and a noun in the span of like 2 sentences. Like, oh, this is fantastic.
We're doing big things.
Right. And I love that you guys can have different combinations of people, like you and Hologram and Orange. We can get Kyle O'Reilly in there. We can get Ishii in there. And it's like there's so many different styles and you guys blend so well. And one of the things I want to talk about is recently, at the time of this recording, we just got back from Pittsburgh, but Orange Cassidy finally made his big return, the big reveal, coming through the Don Callis painting. I think the last time we saw him was Dynasty. What's it like having Orange Cassidy back?
Oh man, I mean, he's I call him the godfather of the conglomeration. He's like, it's like without him, that I feel like there could be no conglomeration. But just having him back and having him, he's the coolest dude there is, obviously. And so, yeah, I mean, he is one of one. There is no other Orange Cassidy, often imitated, never ever duplicated. He's one of a kind, and he's an amazing dude, an amazing performer, an amazing wrestler, and it's great to have him back.
I think one of the things that a lot of people don't really know about Orange Cassidy behind the scenes, because it's really hard to get a grasp of this when, he is who he is on screen, but he's such a leader. Yeah, he is somebody that I think everybody kind of looks to for guidance. He's such a help. And how has your relationship particular been with Orange Cassidy as far as that's concerned?
Oh, great. I think that he is definitely a leader in the locker room. He's so level-headed where sometimes tempers or, emotions could get high. He's so level-headed and he's so rational. Like he can, he doesn't get too worked up, and he can reel things in, and he's just he's so helpful, especially with I say especially with, and then I was going to say a lot of the young guys, but especially with a lot of the young guys, the vets, like everybody, like he really is like the guy. Like he's like not super in your face loud and, hey, look at me, I'm the locker room leader. Not whatsoever, not even a little bit. But everybody knows that you can always go to Orange, or he's always going to have the best interest of the team, of the whole crew.
Rather than saying he's a leader, he's leading by example, which is kind of the best kind of leader you want to follow, because it's like, all right, he's our guy. Whatever he says, we've got his back. And I feel like that kind of shows up in your guys' group as well. We've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, I got to talk about this tables and tacks match. Like, it was incredible. So stay tuned on Unrestricted. We'll talk about that a little bit more after the break. AEW Unrestricted, Mark, Aubrey, Will, we're talking all kinds of fun stuff. We're talking babies, we're talking oranges, we're talking teams, we're talking conglomeration, we're talking verbs and adjectives, nouns, we're talking everything. One of the matches that you did recently that was absolutely incredible at All Out in Toronto, you beat MJF in the first ever tables and tacks match. I know it was a stipulation that sort of you brought to light. Why tables and tacks?
Well, see, I wanted MJF. The thing about MJF is he sometimes he just doesn't understand boundaries, and he doesn't understand limitations, and he doesn't understand how some things are. You might be thinking it, but it really don't need to come out your mouth. So I don't think he really ever thinks about the feelings or any pain that he might be causing anybody else. And so that was kind of my inspiration was, why don't we have this match where, even just to move, just to roll over, you're going to feel pain. Mm-hmm. Even just to to get up off the mat, you're going to feel pain, because that was my thoughts all along, was that I was going to be sure that the entire ring was covered in tacks. And, I know I'm full, ready, willing, and able to be turned into a pin cushion myself. But as long as he feels the pain physically that he has brought to so many people with his insensitivity in the past, that was kind of my inspiration with attacks. And then I was just sitting there, one of them times where you just kind of having a little brainstorming session. I thought to myself, we on TNT, and ain't that interesting? How about some little bit of synergy with the station? And I said, so TNT, we got some Tacks going on. And what's one of my favorite things, always has been one of my favorite things to watch in professional wrestling, is those times when people should so happen to get slammed through a table. So, that just worked out nicely. Tables and Tacks, so, I feel like it ended up, it was a fun match. It was after a while, yeah, you can't escape them Tacks. You can't pretend they ain't there. You can't. Them Tacks was when I got to the back afterwards, I took a big swig of water and I looked like Yosemite Sam there after he had just been in a gunfight on Looney Tunes. Yep, just water squirting all over the floor, made a big old mess.
How was it feeling the next morning? Yeah, I know that adrenaline rush afterwards is still like in you, but the next morning, how was it?
Yeah, I tell you, it was strangely, it felt like I had like a real bad sunburn. It was all over. It was like all over, but it felt like my whole back was real bad sunburned. And top of that, I was still riding the high, just being happy of putting MJF in his place and doing what needed to be done in that aspect. So I was feeling good. I could compartmentalize the pain because of the
That's our
joy.
word of the day. Is
Word of the day.
compartmentalize.
Actually compartmentalize. Yep. And because of the joy that I was feeling from giving MJF his comeuppance.
Oh my God. I don't know if you want to share this information, but do you know how many Tacks there were?
I want to say the last thing that I heard was 85,000.
Yeah, I heard that number too, and I wasn't sure. And then I heard it from Bryce as he's like taping up his arms for the third time. I'm like, do you think that's enough? I don't know.
85,000, at least 85,000. But yeah, it was just enough.
Just enough to cover the ring so that you don't see anything.
Yep, just enough.
Well, one of the things, we had you on May of 23, and a very long time ago. And of course, 2023, of course, is an important year for you because that was the year that you lost Jay. And in May, I think it was still a little fresh. And one of the things we had talked about at the time was kind of, what does a singles run for Mark Briscoe even look like? And now here we are 2.5 years later. That kind of brings me to my question of, you just had an incredible high profile singles match with MJF. How are you feeling kind of this far into your run as a singles performer?
Man, I'm really starting to feel like I'm starting to get a better grasp of what it takes to be successful as a singles guy. It's like I had mentioned it on, I can't remember. I told somebody at some point previously that it's almost like the pacing, like you gotta, where in a tag match I go in just completely guns blazing at a reckless pace if you don't have somebody to tag out to. But in a tag match, you tag out and you get your breath, and here comes your boy, and he does the same thing. But you don't, in a singles match, if you try to do that, you're going to wear yourself out real quick, and you don't have the option of tagging out and getting your breath. So I think that was one of the aspects of it. But no, I'm starting to feel better all the time with my singles performances. And yeah, man, I mean, moving forward, it's like, I mean, I'm gonna be real. It was me and Takeshka in Philly. If I had won, I got a shot at Fletcher for the TNT title. The ball was in my court. you know what I mean? You never know. You can't say, oh, he's winning. But at that point in the match, I was winning. I was going up to hit a devastating maneuver. And next thing you know, here comes MJF, and he cost me the match. So, I mean, I think I got I'm not one to make excuses, but I think I can actually put that out there. Like, so, yeah, man, I'm looking for gold. I'm looking for single gold. I've been smelling gold in them there hills here in AEW since I got here. Hey, 6-man tag title sounds real good too. Now that we're conglomerating hard again, now that OC's back, I would love to get a shot at the trios titles. But yeah, starting to feel better all the time when it comes to singles.
One of my favorite things about the match you had with Takeshita in Philly, and I told you this afterwards, is the first time I ever saw you and your brother perform was in that same building for Ring of Honor. And I hated you. I was like, what is up
I love it.
with these redneck jerks? I don't, they're terrible. I hate them. It's all like, it's the kind of thing that you want to do as a heel, right? Like you want the audience to hate you. And you were doing such an excellent job. And then now it's like, I know you as a person. And I'm like, I don't know how I could have ever hated him. It's like, he's so wonderful. But like being in that building and working with you and Takesha and having this incredible match, what was it like being back in Philly in that sort of the 2300 arena, which I know that you guys had performed in multiple times?
Yeah. Oh man, that was real cool, and I'm glad that I got to have that match, because I mean, Takeshita, he just won the G1 Climax. Like he's like the guy. Like when you're talking about work rate, like the guys that can go, like he's like one of the guys, one of the select fews, like single digits. Like he's one of, like he's so good, and so it was just so cool to be able to have that match with him there in the arena, which is sacred ground. You know what I mean? Is hallowed ground, where me and my brother actually like fell in love with wrestling. Like we liked wrestling, but that's where we fell in love and made the decision. This is what we want to do. And then it was Jersey All Pro way back in the day. Our first match in the arena had to be 2001.
Wow.
And then so I think we have I think somebody had like added it all up. I think we had somewhere close to 80 matches in the arena.
Wow.
Damn.
So, yep. So I mean, that's kind of been like almost like a home stadium, almost like a home base for us. And you know, we started right in Wilmington, Delaware, which is just a quick little, probably 20-minute drive up. So yeah, it definitely felt like a home game, and it was great to be in there with a guy the caliber of him, and the best referee in professional wrestling, and and we it was just real cool. Mom and dad and the kids were there. Like it was just a real cool feeling. You know, after 25 years of wrestling, and I guess probably 30 years since the first time I stepped foot in that building, now here we are with all that's happened, and it's just really cool feeling, really fun night at work. Aside from Joe, that prick MJF came and ruined everything.
What a jerk.
Even still, that those Philly fans, that environment, like again, it really did feel, just getting to see you have that match there, it did feel like a home game in a sense, because again, I agree with what Aubrey said. I hadn't actually gotten to see you perform there in person, but I had seen it quite a few times, as you know, as an avid Ring of Honor watcher, right? That it was like I had seen plenty of matches in that building. You know, I'd seen you guys with the Kingdom. I'd seen you guys with
We had Dragon Lee and Roosh.
Yes, yeah. That, like again, and it's just like to see you guys, to see you get to do that again. And come full circle. And I know people are going to give me crap, so I want to adjust, because I said a year and a half, and I meant 2.5 years when I was like, God, it's 2025. Why did I say a year and a half? But to see
Time
two
is
and
a
a half
flat circle.
to see 2.5 years later, you up there as a singles performer, and again, it's like. You know, people are behind you as a singles performer. It's like people, you know, you talked about wanting gold. People want to see you get that gold. People want to see you kind of move up to that next level. And, you know, we got to see that last year at Supercard of Honor when you won the Ring of Honor World Championship. I want to talk a little bit about that moment in particular. As did you feel like that was kind of the stamp of approval on your being a singles wrestler?
I don't know if I would say that, because that was still very, very. That was still pretty early into my quote unquote singles career.
Right.
I don't know if that was. I don't know if I felt that as a stamp of approval, or if that was almost like a. It was almost like a challenge. It was like, now it's like, all right, now you can't not do this. You're holding this title. Now you got to do this. You can't not do this. There's no other options. And so I mean, it was definitely a milestone. But I don't know if I took it as a stamp of approval. Now, I love that match so much, in me and Eddie, that's something I'll never forget in that moment. But it was, I don't know. And it's almost like I'm still waiting for that stamp of approval personally, in some ways, because it's almost like I ain't got there yet. You know what I mean? So always grinding, always hungry. Like that's kind of how I want to stay motivated and not get complacent,
I love it. And I want to talk more about this particular run as ROH champion, but we got to take a quick break. So more about this when we come back on AEW Unrestricted. AEW Unrestricted, Aubrey will talking to Mark Briscoe, one of the amazing individuals at AEW. I know he said last segment that he doesn't have the stamp of approval, but he's got my stamp of approval. He's a great wrestler, phenomenal person, amazing leader. I know we put Orange Cassidy over as the locker room leader, but Mark Briscoe, when he says something, I'm like, yep, he's my guy. He's my guy. I listen to him all the time. We were talking a little bit about the Ring of Honor Championship and you winning it from Eddie Kingston. You also won it 11 years to the day after Jay won his first ROH title. And one of the things I love about the belt, and we do this kind of often, where when someone wins a championship, we sort of customize it to them and who they are as a person. And I love the belt that you carried. It had sort of the camo strap, had a couple other little details. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, that was the black and white camo theme. That was kind of, I'd say, we kind of mixed up the camos, but that was one of me and my brother's favorites. So that was just kind of a little tip of the hat to the Briscoe brothers. Just the black and white camo, which we wore so many times in tag team action.
I love it. I think I was talking about the Conglomeration promos and some of the stuff we got to work on together. And, one of the moments I always think about, probably really often, if I ever think about one of my favorite things I ever got to be a part of, because that championship was effectively your baby. And then I think about that moment back in, it was the night after you had defeated Roderick Strong in Texas, and we did the Conglomeration promo with the introduction of Baby J.
Yeah.
And that whole moment where you're like, Kyle, hold my baby, and then Kyle tosses it up in the air, and everything about that was so perfect. But then, of course, we got the introduction of Baby J, and that promo I still see come up every once in a while on social media because there's so many things people point out about that moment, right? One, you were ROH World Champion. Literally the night before, you had an incredible match with Roderick Strong. You guys tore that building down. And then here you are cutting this promo with your baby in hand, full Mark Briscoe mode, and your baby is not flinching whatsoever. It is whatsoever. Baby J is just like, I'm here. I got this. This is how my dad is, and this is what I know.
Baby J, just this morning, Baby J, see, his problem is, well, I'm not gonna say his problem, but one of the issues that he has too many big brothers. He doesn't have too many big brothers, but because he has so many big brothers, he doesn't, and because he sees dad fighting, quote unquote, fighting with his friends, because at work that's what I do. Sometimes he thinks that hitting is showing affection. So yes, But even sometimes when it's not showing affection, when he's really trying to, prove his point, he doesn't hesitate. Just this morning, my cell phone, my wife's cell phone, and the remote control were sitting on the table. This was probably 45 minutes ago. He goes to grab my phone. I'm like, no, bud, you can't have that. I move it out of his reach. Goes to grab the wife's phone. No, bud, you can't have that. Move it out of his reach. Goes to grab the remote control. Nah, bud, move it out of his reach. He had nothing else to reach for, so he squares up with me and just starts swinging. But give him one of those aggressive pin his hand to his body, and no, that's not how it goes down, buddy. It's not.
Oh my God.
No.
I love the picture in my head of a 1.5-year-old just going to town, just
with zero fear whatsoever.
Zero fear. I mean, like, I think you kind of live through life with zero fear when you've got 7 older siblings. It's like, it's like either they've got your back or you've got their back. Like, you've got a little gang built in. I like that you did that.
Hey, for sure. 100%.
But bringing it back around to the championship run, again, that just kind of goes to show, as you were Ring of Honor World Champion, there was a lot you were kind of carrying at that time. You were doing these defenses and defending the title and representing Ring of Honor on Ring of Honor. Then at the same time, you've got the Conglomeration going on Dynamite and Collision. And then on the other end of things, you were in Blood and Guts. Like, that was quite a run for you as champion. Kind of summarizing it, looking back on all of that, how had you felt that run had gone?
Hey, that was, I feel like that was when, and I tell you, it's something that I really appreciate about since I've been in AEW is that it would have been so easy for me to get all the good and easy booking and all the whatever high profile booking right as soon as I came in. But, that's not fair to so many people who have been here for so long. I feel like I had to prove myself. You know what I mean? I feel like I had to earn it. And I really appreciate that. And I feel like right around that time was when I was really started to feel that I was getting the fruit from the seeds I had been planting with the hard work that I had been trying to put in. And I was like, okay, they really trust me with the ball. Like they're putting me in Blood and Guts. They're having me, just like you said, doing multiple different things, wearing multiple different hats. And I really appreciated that they were really appreciating me. And so ever since then, it's just been like more and more. I'm like, whatever y'all need, you know what I mean? Me and my brother, we always kind of prided ourselves on the range, you know what I mean? We could make you laugh, we could scare you, we could make trying to make you cry, you know what I mean? But I just want to be able to help out in any way needed.
And you're doing just that. Speaking of your brother, I want to talk about a little about the documentary that came out this summer in July. So 2-in-1, the Briscoe Story, and it's sort of, I think AEW and Players Tribune sort of approached you to doing this project. What was your first reaction when someone told you, like, we want to do a documentary about you?
Honestly, I was apprehensive. I was like, man, I don't, because that always stirs up memories and emotions, and not necessarily everything pleasant, even though it is helpful, it is therapeutic. But at first, I was a little apprehensive. I wasn't really gung ho about it. But then, talk to the family about it and stuff, and it's kind of like a good opportunity to like spread the message and like spread some love and like testify a little bit about just like how we're handling this and like how we see this as a part of God's plan and how good God is, regardless of how things look. It's not. It's like life is not. This has taught me like not to look at life. Say if life is a parade, like if you're standing on the street corner and you're seeing it one thing at a time. Here come the classic cars, and then here come the big fancy floats, and then here comes the beauty pageant queens. But if you're looking at it on the street corner. But if you're looking at it from a blimp, you can see the whole thing all at once. And it's like just that, like life is so much more than just individual moments, and it's just a bigger picture thing. And so having the opportunity to like spread that with other people that's kind of when we were like, yeah, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe we should do this.
Well, one of the things you're kind of famous for having said was that you and Jay knew how to wrestle before you knew how to walk. How did that idea kind of shape the tone of the film?
Hey, man, it was like as far as making it, doing it, like just them asking, like it was actually nice. A lot of times, like reminiscing and like mom pulling out old pictures and old videos and stuff of back when we were kids. It was like, man, just like bringing back good memories and all that stuff. But it was, yeah, man. I mean, that's all we ever did. That's all we ever, like, before we even knew what pro wrestling was, we were wrestling each other. and then next thing you know, we come across it, or Dad turns it on 12 o'clock on Saturday morning, and it's like, oh man, this is a thing. Like, and then it's just so natural and just so organically happened. You know what I mean? It was almost like this is what we were put here to do.
Oh man, I love it. Speaking of which, how's your dad doing? How's my trios partner?
Oh, big man's good. Big man's doing real good. Yeah, he's doing real good. It's late September, so hunting season started September 1st. You know, we love the nutritious and delicious white-tailed deer, and so he's very happy about hunting season's back in. It's football season. Jay's son Gannon, he's a junior this year in high school playing linebacker, and he's really doing a good job. He just dislocated his finger last game, and it was shaped like a 7, and one of his buddies just snatched it back straight, and so he's still playing. He ain't missing no time, but he's got a game tonight, so we're pumped for that. But yeah, big man's good. Dad's good.
Yeah, like, I was just gonna say I love. And every time, and it's a thing that even my kids talk about every time they get to meet you guys as family, and just how family oriented you guys truly are. Like, I'm a big believer in the village and how much it takes a village to make things happen. And the fact that you guys have a village and then some.
You made your own village.
Yeah, and it's incredible, and I love watching it. And I think it is one of the things that I truly admire and respect about you and your wife and just everybody, and how dedicated to each other you all are.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, man.
Man, this is such a great conversation. I'm glad we got to talk to you again. I'm glad we've gotten to, see you become an even better wrestler than you already were when you joined us, to have you backstage, just lifting everyone's spirits. Like, you yourself are the cup of coffee that we all need. That it's like, I'm having a bad day and I see Mark Briscoe. I don't even need to see Mark Briscoe. I was in Pittsburgh yesterday, and I remember they closed the makeup room because that's where they were doing the pre-tapes, and I could just hear, and I'm like, oh, they're doing Conglomeration. Okay. Yep. And I'm through the window, looking at the makeup people going, and it's like, oh yeah, we know it's Mark Briscoe. But that's the thing. That's the thing that's exciting, is it's like when Mark's here, it's going to be a good day. So thank you for giving us a great day on this podcast.
Hey, well, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for being here. And thank you, Mark Briscoe. And don't forget that AEW Unrestricted is sponsored in part by Upper Deck. And look at that. I've got good old...
You found it.
I did, of course. This one was actually right on top. And you can collect your favorite wrestlers in 2025 Upper Deck AEW and start your trading card collection today. Unwrap autographed memorabilia or premium tech inserts. Visit upperdeck.com to learn more, and you can listen to and follow this podcast, AEW Unrestricted, at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And check out the video episodes on our YouTube channel at AEW Unrestricted, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to become an AEW insider and get early access to ticket pre-sales, special merchandise offers, and more straight to your inbox. Sign up today at AEWTix.com. And also, don't forget that AEW Dynamite is on TBS every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and streaming on HBO Max. AEW Collision live every Saturday on TNT and streaming on HBO Max. ROH streams every Thursday on Honor Club. I'm Will Washington. She is Aubrey Edwards. For Mark Briscoe, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time, and have a great day. Peace.